Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about shopping campaigns and why they're not just for e-commerce companies anymore. And when I talk about e-commerce companies, in the literal sense, I'm talking about products that are sold online basically only. Of course, there's an e-commerce site that could also be part of a brand, an offline brand. But for the most part, we're talking about web commerce here. And for e-commerce, I'm referring to sites that have a one-step sales process where users go to a website, they can see inventory that's available there, products that's available there, and they can buy with a credit card, no human interaction. It's all electronically delivered. In terms of the interaction between buyer and seller initially, of course, and then delivery of product by mail or another courier or shipping method. And so with that, there's a way that even if you sell products, to be able to use the so-called shopping campaigns on Google, on Bing, which work really, really well, that you're going to be able to sell those through those campaigns, even if you don't now, or I'm going to explain why, and also why, of course, you want to do that. And what most people, the reason why I'm making this video, think it's impossible to be able to sell a product that's not sold traditionally, via means of an e-commerce way on their website, or another way to put it, a two-step process. So you sell something, but the user cannot buy directly from your website. So anytime you sell a product, but you don't do all the sales through the website, you could still use Google Shopping campaigns. You want to use Google Shopping campaigns because they're extremely profitable on almost every single case that I've ever used them for any type of company out there. And they work quickly. Generally speaking, with smart campaigns, you can make a campaign profitable to get upwards of 8x ROI, times ROI in as little as 3 months. Versus a search campaign might take 6 to 12 months to really get off the ground, and it takes tremendously more work to get that to work. Even though over time search campaigns, shopping campaigns, they deliver about their equal amount of profit, long term shopping delivers it quicker and easier. And for the most part, with everybody that don't have the resources I do to build search campaigns, shopping campaigns only take a little bit of effort. If you're selling products right now, bottom line, and you're not doing shopping for your company to sell those products, you need to stop everything you're doing unless you're already selling way more than you can handle and deliver on, and actually get the shopping campaigns up and going for your business now. So anyway, on this video, I'm going to explain how you're going to be able to do that, how much of a difference that's going to make for you. And also the big thing is I'm going to give examples on how different product businesses that sell products that don't do traditional e-commerce, how you can use shopping to not only sell what you have via the shopping ads that usually work very, very well, better than pretty much anything you can do PPC-wise or online ad-wise, but also how to use shopping and the whole concept of shopping advertising, the shopping ads on Google, on Bing, to sell even more than what you could, even just what you would think by default what these shopping ads could ultimately do for your brand. Before I get into it, the reason why, by the way, shopping ads work so good, because the concept behind them is the user does not have to click on your ad, and you don't get really paid much until they see what you have there, because there's a picture. So you always have on Google, let's say this is Google, and you have your shopping ads right here. There'll be 8 pictures and then prices next to it. Those are the shopping ads. And then you might have down below it the text ads, which are search campaign ads. And so the shopping campaign ads have an element that the search campaign ads don't have, which is you could see what you're getting before you click. You also could see the price. So if the product is too much or out of your budget, you don't have to waste time clicking through an ad. So you're getting a more pre-qualified user to your site, but it's also based upon all the boring text links. It's something that your eye is drawn to, and you're going to get a high click-through rate as well. So Google loves it because they're going to make more money, and then you should love it because they don't have to charge you as much for those visitors, and they actually convert better because they're more qualified when they get to your site. Therefore, if you sell products right now, you want to use shopping. And yes, I don't care what you sell. If you sell a product, shopping can be done. All you got to be able to do is have a way to create a definitive package of what you're selling. And if you can do that, you can use these shopping campaigns that work really, really well. And even if you can, I'm going to explain how you're going to take what you have, which may not be in tight little definitive packages, and make it enough so you could also, sell what you have by these shopping campaigns and make a whole, make bank doing that. Even if you sell something as customized as a wedding cake, I'm going to explain how you're going to use these shopping ads to make money. And anything else that you may be selling by, with the examples I'm going to give you, because you're going to be able to see how you're going to make it work for your business as well, and capitalize on what shopping does for pretty much every business out there that tries it and actually understands this isn't just for e-commerce businesses. So anyway, I have a short list of things here that I'll cover. Shopping campaigns right off the bat, I'll just tell you, usually for most people that don't have the resources I have to build really complex campaign structures out, will do 2 to 3 times more ROI than a search campaign will. And for the most part, for most businesses, even with no PPC experience, can get shopping campaigns to work well, enough to where they can self-finance those campaigns. And therefore, if you think that you can't do shopping campaigns now, this is going to help you bridge that gap. And that's the reason why, ultimately, having the ability to run shopping ads for your product company that sells a product in some shape or form, why you want to do it. But I'm going to explain how you're going to do it, and give you examples of other companies you wouldn't think, really at all, could use shopping ads that work really, really well, that are using them. And I've actually worked around the system to be able to use it, which Google's fine with it. We're not tricking Google. Google allows for this. People just don't know that Google allows for this. So I'm going to explain why. Anyway, the first thing, why this strategy, and where would this strategy work for me? So why this strategy? Because you're going to get a 2 to 3 times higher ROI off the bat if you haven't gotten anything going for yourself now. You're going to get a campaign that probably works within, like a 90-day time period. If you have something that works now, or it'll work even way better with shopping added in. And of course, if you have something that isn't quite getting the ROI that you want, you're getting a 2 to 1, you need an 8 to 1. Shopping can be your relief valve for be able to actually set up PPC campaigns that will work and are actually self-financeable for you long term, until you have some more time to optimize your search campaigns, which you should still do. It's not a matter of if the search will work for your brand. It's a matter of what the clicks are worth to you, and then assigning a value of what you're willing to pay for those clicks, and then sifting out what's valuable to you from those search ads for you as well. Shopping campaigns, by the way, is the same way, but inherently works usually right off the bat and quicker and more, that you don't even have to do that in a lot of cases, which is why it works for novices so well. Anyway, where would this work? Basically, again, anytime that you sell a product, you can use a shopping campaign. So most people are thinking that I have to sell digitally the product and have to have a product, definitive SKU that, like a product that I have inventory on, that kind of thing, to make shopping work. That is not the case, and I'm going to explain why. So if you have a 2-step process, which a lot of times if you're selling expensive things or things that are customized a little bit, or you'll have a definitive inventory, let's say, then they don't think they can use it. So even if you have a 2-step process where you have to interact with that buyer before you can physically ship it out, I'm going to explain how you're going to be able to get the shopping campaigns going for you anyway. And so in case there is more than just one step, i.e. the user sees the item, they buy the item, that's it. So this will work for any product seller out there. And if there isn't one that this will work for, let me know, because I don't know of any product seller that this would not work for. It takes a little bit of massaging up front, and it'll virtually work for any business out there. Businesses like, or especially if you sell industrial equipment. So that could be like if you sell a gas cooler for a large manufacturing facility, air scrubbers. A lot of people don't think they could sell that via a shopping campaign, but you can. And even though you don't see your competitors doing it, doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means they haven't actually got this information yet. As hard as that is to believe, it's the case. You got it. All Google cares about, and Bing as well, which if Google works, Bing will work better for you, so you should do both, by the way, as I've said on many of my videos, that you need to be able to just add a standard product image and a description and price and shipping terms, and if you can get all that for a certain type of gas cooler or air scrubber, you can have a shopping ad show up for your brand, and if you're the only one actually doing it in your space, they aren't going to work just a lot, they're going to work a hell of a lot. So just the fact that you're the first one doing this is huge. And if, of course, if you're not and there's shopping ads there, that's a big reason probably why your search ads aren't working that great, because the shopping ads, again, usually work better, mainly because the user's drawn to it. They see what they get before they click. There's a big reason why shopping ads work. If you're selling commercial equipment, and by the way, this is all stuff I've either seen or have actually done myself. Commercial equipment, so if you sell CNC machines, forklifts, 3D printers, anything like that. So basically, with the idea being, either in the commercial or industrial example, it's stuff that's priced so expensive or the needs are just a little bit different each time that you have to speak with the buyer before you actually ship out. They have to do freight shipping, whatever. Doesn't mean you can't have the shopping ad show up again. You just got to be able to have a picture of the item and a description and a price. And then what ultimately you do is, instead of the user checking out straight away, you have a call to action. Instead of a buy button, you have a talk to an expert or request shipping quote, something like that. You have to have a definitive item to sell and a price. If you have that, doesn't matter if you have to still talk to you. The user has to talk to you before buying. Google doesn't care about that part. So with that said, that kind of explains why, even if you're not e-commerce traditionally, why this shopping can still work for you, and you can scrape the the revenue out of shopping in your space without or with somebody even doing it in your space already, and what it actually takes, and that it can work for basically anybody out there. As far as I know, everybody. Anyway, the next category, used items for production. So basically, you just sell used stuff. It could be something for like a construction company. You sell rock crushers. I've done it for this actually, and other big, like mining equipment, all that kind of stuff. And which is a commonly sold used item that gets sold and then resold, by the way, because companies go out of business all the time, and with that, kitchen utensils. So restaurants go out of business. There's liquidators. They resell that stuff. Just because it's used doesn't mean you cannot sell it in shopping. They don't care. Google does not care if it's used. So as long as you could put it in your store, what you do is you put it in your store like as if it was new, and it all works the same way. And then basically if somebody's looking for that item, now guess what? Your used items looks cheaper next to the new item on Google Shopping. What do you think people click on? So it works very, very well. And of course, once that item is gone, due to the magic of how Google Merchant Center works and shopping works, as soon as that's out of stock, given that your e-commerce, it's basically you're going to be setting up on an e-commerce platform, actually the user can buy, of course, or you may have 500 of these spatulas and you want to sell them in bulk. It can be request a quote, and then what the price is for 1 to 5, 5 to 10, something like that, then request a quote. Once you can have it automatically inside your system, that it's like a traditional e-commerce site with a definitive amount of inventory. You can just say out of stock, and you can put that in there manually on your back end of your site, and then the Google Merchant Center will update automatically, and then your Google Ads account will update automatically along with your Google Shopping campaign, and one click on your back end saying you're out of stock on that 500 spatulas that you're trying to resell. Those ads will not show up for you again. So it's easy to manage, even if you have lots and lots of used items to sell this way. Limited inventory could be stuff, custom-made electronics with like a virtual SKU. So custom-made electronics is the big one I can think of. That would be like custom-programmed EPROM chips. So like if you have a chip that's programmed for a certain purpose, machines a lot of times use EPROM chips, and when the machine needs to be updated or fine-tuned, somebody will sell an updated chip for that particular model of machine. And what you can do, what I mean by the virtual SKUs, is you can have, June 12th update that people are looking for in terms of the most current version of the updates for that machine on a chip. You put that on your store, June 12th update, and then, ultimately, you keep your site updated with the chips. So I guess that would not be virtual SKU. At the stand corrected there, but for the, basically what you're going to do is there's a lot of different EPROM chips that may have to be sold, hundreds. So what you're going to do, instead of putting traditional inventory, what I mean here is you're going to have the chips for all the different applications that people need them for, and then people can buy, and then you will custom make the item. And so basically the more applications you can make SKUs for on your site. So let's say there's 5,000 different EPROM chips out there that you could buy for different purposes, and each chip could be just you're taking the same chip and programming it each time to have the certain code on it that would work for that specific application. So what I would be doing in that case is I would be searching the 5,000 applications, and I would be making a SKU on my site that I don't have the item yet, but people can then, when they're searching for a EPROM chip for a model XYZ machine, June 12th update, they can find my product. Then at that point in time, they just check out regularly, and of course you can also say, contact us for a shipping quote, like I mentioned before, even if you can't do that. But basically that click right there, because it's so qualified, is going to convert very, very well, especially through shopping. And so I would recommend, if you're in that kind of situation, you should do that. Another one would be like a custom control board for certain applications. So again, there's like electronic control boards for certain machines. And you have different ones for different types of machines and applications to speed up the equipment, to slow it down, whatever. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go again, Google for all the different type of control boards out there. Being that your company can make any board that's out there, you're going to pretend, quote unquote, this is a little gray area, that you have a board for all these different applications. You're going to put them on a site that's built for traditional e-commerce, and then they're going to buy, you're going to make it, then you're going to ship it to them. But the fact that you create a virtual SKU, let's just say, that you're taking a picture basically of an EPROM board that's not really any different than any other applications board, so that your shopping ad can show up for somebody who is searching for a board for that specific application, and then you sell it. And then so you basically are creating products that are not existing yet but will once you actually produce them. And so I think that's what I mean by virtual SKUs. But that virtual product thing can be taken a step further with all different types of businesses out there, which I'm going to explain here. So custom PS4 controllers, let's say you sell PlayStation 4 controllers. You could take a picture of a controller that you see out there, and then you could put that on your e-commerce store. If somebody orders it, you could make it on the spot. So what I would be doing is I'd be finding a picture of every single controller out there that I could find if I did that, and then once I would then make the product, once somebody buys it. And so ultimately what the shopping is going to do for you then is have, if somebody wants a red and black PS4 controller, they're going to see a red and black PS4 controller shopping ad and a product on the site that has that picture on it, even though you don't really have that product. So that would be like a virtual SKU. Even though that's technically gray area, you can decide if you want to do that or not. But the same kind of thing could go into the like a local product delivery category. So one of which on the local scene would be custom food items. So themed cakes. So if you sell custom cakes or wedding cakes or something like that, you could do the same thing. That would actually be a really good business idea. You would take all the pictures of wedding cakes out there that you can find, sell them as individual virtual SKUs, as is, like you actually have the product in stock on your site, then run the shopping campaign. So if somebody's looking for a Spider-Man, wedding cake or whatever it is, I know that would be a weird thing, but ultimately you can do keyword research to see what people are searching for and then make a product around that, or just make a whole bunch of products, label them. The shopping algorithm that runs your ads is going to be able to, it'll see Spider-Man. So anything with cake plus Spider-Man will trigger that ad to show up for that virtual product. You sell it, and then it's just that ad, by the way, will, again, it's so qualified at that point. You're the only one with the cake that has that actual picture on there. And you can have next to it and saying, this is the basic cake. To customize the cake and have a few different customizations added to it, just let us know in the box below, and then schedule your delivery of your cake here. And then that way you have to still talk to them, knowing that everybody won't probably want that exact same cake, even though you could just do that cake and that cake only. But you get the idea of this virtual SKU concept. The same thing could be done if you were a catering company. Why, if you're a catering company, just advertise for keywords like local catering Denver, when you could do like packages. Like, I know I talked to a caterer once. People that want a budget wedding will do like a macaroni / grilled cheese type of catering and soup thing instead of the fancy food that a lot of people get. Well, just do a virtual SKU on your site for like grilled cheese, meal, macaroni and cheese meal, hot dog meal, whatever. And then if somebody's actually looking for hot dog catering, your shopping ad now shows up. So that's another way to use that virtual SKU concept. Same thing on the local scene again that would work. A subcategory is car products. So one thing I would do is, if I was an auto detailer, both my two different examples in the auto detailing space that you could use shopping with it, is like a window tent. I would be taking a picture of a window, like online. Just take somebody's, of course you have to have permission, but a lot of times people won't care. You take a picture of a Chevy Corvette, 2007 Chevy Corvette with a tent on it, make a product on the site that says 2007 Chevy Corvette window tent. So when somebody's typing in Chevy Corvette window tinting Denver, my ad is going to show only while they're in Denver, by the way. So if they just type in Chevy Corvette window tint, of course maybe they're looking for a product, but at least my shopping ad can show up showing that actual car with a tint on it, which gets their attention. Now they get to the site and they realize for just a little bit more I can just go to the shop. They do a good job because I can see by the picture they do a good job, and they buy. But a better example in the car space would be wraps. Those like, it's like a big sticker basically that goes around the car where you can have a custom paint job in just a few minutes. If somebody wants a Robin's Egg blue wrap, just take a picture again, make a SKU on your site, and then when somebody types in Robin's Egg blue wraps, my shopping ad is going to show up, and I'm going to capture. The clicks are going to be so cheap and so qualified that even if half, or it would say 75%, really just want to buy the thing, they're not expecting that a local company is going to spoon feed them to show them exactly where they can get a Robin's Egg blue wrap for their car. That 25% would be able to be cross or upsell, however you want to label that, and your clicks are only 10 cents each, and you sell the wrap for $200, the math still works out. So there's an example there. One in the local scene again here, another subcategory, home appliances. So if I'm like a local franchise for a Sears or something, I'm going to have all the appliances in my store sold, and then it's going to be geo-fenced around the area in which our service area is for all the like air conditioning units that we have, all the dishwashers that we have. So somebody's looking for a Maytag, XYZ model dishwasher. They see that in the shopping ad box that's there, and then they click through, and then they see the price, and then they see we have 3-day delivery if you take us up on this offer this month. and then you've got their attention, you've built in scarcity, boom, you got the order. It's enough that ultimately they're gonna, if they have to buy this thing, they have to get it installed by somebody. If it's a dishwasher, of course, and well, for most of the time, right? Again, it's just a small percentage will not be qualified because they want to install it themselves, but there's enough, even if it's just a small sliver, 20%, would be able to be cross-sold. The click is so cheap. And then on the flip side, if somebody is searching for air conditioning, new air conditioning installation, Denver, that click might be $25 a click. But somebody is searching for a certain model of air conditioning unit, could be, $1.50 per click. And when, even if you only upsell 20%, that's still, you're cutting the cost of the advertising and the cost per acquisition by a half or a third. So it's, at the very least, it's worth trying. Of course, it's some work getting all those products on an ongoing basis on your site. And Google actually is encouraging people to do this for local products, as there's an option that you can show people that you're local in the shopping, even though I don't believe people even see that or pay attention to that. The fact that they click on your site and they see you're local, a lot of times they're just going to stop their search and they're going to just go with you at that point. Of course, the last example in the home appliance space would be like a home generator. It's something that, of course, that if you're looking and researching a certain brand, I would go and look at the thing, and then now, of course, if all the information about that model of machine is there, and I have an offer that's this month only, that if I have to pick somebody anyway, and this is the one that's going to give me 3-day shipping, I'm going to choose this one at this point in time. So that's how that's executed to get the maximum benefit with that kind of a sales funnel, by the way. Anyway, how to implement this, to wrap this up. It's actually really simple. I would recommend Shopify for an e-commerce platform anymore. And then you set up Shopify, you create your SKUs, you create your virtual SKUs if you're going to go that route. And you're going to then create a Google Merchant Center account, and you're going to link Shopify to your Google Merchant Center account, which is really easy. There's paid. I would do a paid plugin, not the free cheap crap. It's about $100, and then that'll automatically, dynamically update every time that you mark something out of stock, or you create a new SKU and that's marked in stock on your Shopify account. Your Google Merchant Center will update automatically, which Google Merchant Center is then linked to your Google Ads account and your shopping campaign that you're going to set up. So that, again, once you are out of stock on something and you mark it out of stock on your site, the shopping ads for that particular product shut off automatically. And the same thing, it turns on automatically once you mark it in stock or you create a new SKU. But with that, you need to also just think about, of course, if most of the stuff I mentioned here, you're not going to be able to just sell and have them put their credit card in without talking to anybody. It's a two-step sale. So you have to create a call to action that works. Talk to an expert, request shipping day, get a shipping time request. And then if you're going to take this a step further, what I would recommend is take advantage of our 3-day shipping and delivery promo offer this month for the actual call to action, to get as many of them as you can. And you're going to find out this is so profitable, or profitable enough, that you will want to enhance it with an offer instead of just talk to an expert, which is boring. The more descriptive you can be with the call to action, the better off you are. And then if you can work an actual offer in with the call to action, which barely anybody does, by the way, also because it's a little logistically hard to do, you're going to get twice the benefit out of whatever you're doing than just having to talk to an expert. Because there's actual reason to respond and stop what you're doing versus go back to Google and just start searching around and get distracted and end up some other place. You want to, with the landing page, it's always the same, or PPC, it's always the same. What can I do to get that user to stop what they're doing and just in their search with me? And so the offer to spice up, the request for them to do that is just a logical step in making money with these shopping campaigns, or pretty much anything you're doing online with PPC and landing pages, or the page, optimizing the page that you're sending user to, i.e. the product page on your site. So shopping campaigns really, really do well. Yes, The hardest thing for you to do out of all this is just going to be able to make sure to create a virtual SKU for all the different combinations of things that you sell, of course, or just create a product feed. And starting with a product feed is easy because there's a plugin for your e-commerce site that makes the product feed automatic. Creating a SKU for every rock crusher you have so that you can then have a shopping feed with every rock crusher that you have for every 3D printer that you have in stock, so on and so forth. But beyond that, you're done. So anybody can really do this. And most, 90% of people that go through with this action in a space where very few or little people are doing it are probably 90% going to make a ton of money doing this. So you have to give it a shot. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. I have a lot of other videos like this on this channel, other PPC money-making strategies. I have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog that has step-by-step instruction on how to do PPC money-making strategies, of which I use to guarantee results for our clients here. And nobody else does guaranteed results, so you're basically getting exactly what I charge a lot of fees for. Apart from that, if you have any questions about doing shopping for non-e-commerce businesses that still sell a product or can transform what they have into selling a defined product of some sort, a package or whatever, leave a comment down below. I always get back to everybody that leaves me a comment on my channel here. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Hope this inspired you to check this out if you do sell a product and you're not doing shopping yet for your brand.